Hey, welcome to the Table Talk Podcast. We are back after Christmas break and New Year's break. It's like a whole new year now, David. The world has changed.
2026
is wild. It's 2026 is a big year. It's the 30th anniversary. Well, I was about to say of Toy Story, but it might have come out in 1995.
Yeah.
So it could be the 31st anniversary of Toy Story.
That's pretty big.
It's pretty big.
Over 30 years old.
Over 30 years old. I'm going to look right now, actually. What else happened in 1996? What else is it the 30th anniversary of? Bulls won the title. Isn't that right? Didn't they win in 96?
That sounds right.
Toy Story came out in 95. Unfortunately, I was wrong.
But we're probably right in the middle of the Toy Story
era.
Mayhem.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
It probably came out around Christmas or so. And there are Buzz Lightyear toys
everywhere. So it's fine. That counts.
Yeah.
What else happened in 1996?
The Berlin Wall.
No, that was early, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that earlier? You almost got me. I was like, wait, Clinton was president in 96.
Civil War? Something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Don't ask us to do history. Good thing this isn't a history podcast.
Yes. We're more about biblical history.
That's right. Yeah.
Here. Exiles, anybody?
Exiles. That's right. Exiles. You know, if I ever had like the chance to open like a biblically themed like restaurant, I think Exiles could be pretty cool.
That would be a
like island themed, you know, like Castaway kind of.
Yeah.
Exiles.
That would be good.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. No pork.
No pork. Well, no, they're in Babylon, so you could have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have the Babylonian burger.
Of the Babylonian burger.
Nebuchadnezzar's nachos, anybody? We're on a roll here.
Yes. We are well rested and ready for some podcasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I'm too busy thinking of menu items now.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you had the appetizer section, you'd call it Meshach's Munchums instead of appetizers, you know?
Yep. You could do Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right?
Yeah,
They could do some kind of fiery wings or something like that.
Yeah.
And it comes in like numbers of 4.
It'd be pretty good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But, there's the options are
endless.
endless.
Truly.
Yes.
Well.
But the Exiles, it'd also be a good band name. I mean, that would be. So, or you could have that like your house band at your restaurant.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you didn't come to hear us talk about menu items for a biblically themed restaurant.
Possible job opportunities.
But now, if you want to invest in something, now you have the perfect opportunity.
We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
We have something.
We're so glad you're here for the next 25 to 30 minutes. We have an exciting business opportunity to present to you. You get it on the ground floor right now. I'm telling you, put that thing in Pigeon Forge, I think it would take off.
And it feels like anything in Pigeon Forge will just take off. So
it's a good idea.
But how was your Christmas and New Year?
It was good. It was good. Yeah. Traveled a little bit, went and saw my family. It was good. How was yours?
It was good. We didn't make it back to Ohio for Christmas last year, and so being able to go back this year, and it felt great to be with family. It's always fun. I have a large family, so all the cousins getting together for like 15 grandkids.
That's cool.
15 cousins on that side, and they just go wild, and everybody was there, and it was good. Abby and Andrew, they lead worship here. They have led worship here before. They were able to come.
That's awesome.
They're getting ready to start their new jobs and stuff. So it was really good and really needed, and a good needed break before a busy New Year. We've got for a lot of people preparing for the Tennessee Christian Teen Convention, which West Town's heavily involved in. I mean, it's has a big involvement in that, and so a lot of people will be preparing for that this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of good stuff, and we're back. We just started a new sermon series. We're glad to start it back called We Are the Church, and we're looking at really for 3 weeks kind of like the core identity and the core mission of the Big C Church, and then how we've kind of felt like God has called us specifically as West Town. And so this past Sunday, we talked about our mission statement, and David's talking about our values this coming Sunday, and then I'll finish it off with on the last week, kind of like what our hope is for people, like our outcomes, like what does it look like when we've actually done this, like what our lives look like. So it's been good and exciting to kind of settle back in and go, okay, let's just remind ourselves what we're about, who God's calling us to be. And this past Sunday was fun for me to teach on that a bit.
Yeah. It's a great way to start the year as far as just remembering who we are. Like, why does West Towne exist? What is our mission here out in West Knoxville? Like, what are we doing here? And we worked through our mission statement this whole past year, which is navigating Knoxville towards wholeness in Jesus. And so we spent a lot of time last year.
A lot of time.
Working through that. And I'm excited for this year to kind of be like, all right, we worked through all that. Now, what do we do with this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the hope. I mean, last year, a lot of sermon series and teaching series, we're kind of setting up that concept of wholeness and shalom and what that means. And so we went through the Plant the Flag series that was unpacking the mission statement over 2 weeks and then all the values. And we went into Genesis, which was like, okay, here's God's original design for the good life. Like, what did he want when he created us? We went through the Apostles' Creed in Rooted, which was like, what are the core things we believe? Like, what are the beliefs that we hold that we believe, help us to find wholeness? Like, we need to know who God is, who Jesus is. We went through even, later in the year, that idea of, all is calm, wholeness. Like, there's a sense of peace that we get by knowing who Jesus is. So we wanted to kind of set up the big picture concepts last year in our teaching series. And then this year, things are going to get a lot more practical. So if we laid the foundation, now we're going to start building the house on the foundation. So, we're wrapping these 3 weeks up, but then we go into a series on relationships for 5 weeks. How do we build healthier friendships, healthier marriages, healthier dating relationships, healthier parent, all that stuff. We'll get into Leviticus this year. Which I'm kind of excited about. Leviticus is like weird and blood and guts, but it's like daily life. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope that as we kind of get into some more practical things this year, our lives start to take on some of the characteristics of that wholeness we've been praying for.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why I said I think it's a perfect one to start on. We've set the tone. We know what our mission is here in Knoxville. So let's start working towards wholeness. And when we say that, it's I think our hearts and our minds with it are, we want this to touch every aspect of people's lives, not just like, well, your time here at church. We want you to have. Well, no, it's like we believe that wholeness is available for everyone through Christ in your marriages and your relationship with your kids and your work, and obviously your relationship with God. And it is there, and it's not always easy to get to. It's not that it's never messy or anything like that. No, it's going to be tough, and it's going to take a lot of work, but it is worth it. And we believe that if we follow what God is calling us to do, and if we're faithful to Him, that wholeness is available. Yeah,
exactly. God created every part of us, from our nervous systems to our emotions, like all those things. God created every part of us, and God has constructed and designed life and existence in a way that is holistic. And God cares about every single piece: the physical, the spiritual, the relational, the emotional. God cares about all of that. And because we believe God created us as whole beings, whole creatures, we believe that wholeness, like I said, is possible in all those areas. And so we really want to get into that. And we're going to have some conversations that push us a bit and stretch us a bit. But that is how we find it. It's found in Jesus, and Jesus He is the most accessible, available person on the planet. He wants you to come to Him. But for our life to start to look like Jesus, that takes some work. But He is more than willing to walk with us and lead us on that path. We just have to be willing to go with Him. I was having a conversation this morning actually with somebody who was talking about the fact that in order for us to like actually receive hope and receive the ability to change, we have to feel safe. Humans need safety. We're biologically wired to need safety to be open to change and to be open to hope. What we wanted to talk about last year was a lot of the fact that Jesus is safe because Jesus wants good things for us. Mm-hmm. This year may be the year where we go, okay, we know he's safe. We know he wants good things. Now, how do we start to change? Mm-hmm. How do we start to believe and make shifts that reflect the wholeness that Jesus wants for us? That was a long-winded answer, but I just think we're going to get into some really good stuff this year, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I know we're going to be discovering all of that stuff as we go, and we will be working through what does that even look like in our lives. And you talked a little bit about kind of that idea, like what does this look like, and if it does look like this, how do we live in this world? And you talked about the exiles and how they were told to go and do good in Babylon, in this place that they didn't fit in.
Right.
Like they didn't fit in Babylon. They were different. There were times where it was, I'm sure, it was really hard, where they had huge questions. They didn't understand all of it, yet they're called by God to do good, to continue to follow him, and to be representatives of him to the world through the way that they loved, the way that they lived, the way that they had faith in God, and to be an example. And what I think is kind of cool about this, and this may be jumping ahead a little bit, but is I think this had a bigger impact on the world than what people realized when they were exiled. Like, and I think that's how God works is he sent them out, and they came back. When they came back from exile, there were more people who believed in Yahweh, the God of the Israelites. And we see it in the New Testament of these people who, why are they even in this, why are they asking about it? What are they even doing here? And it's like, well, it's probably during this time that they're in exile that they saw Yahweh.
I mean, somebody was telling me a couple weeks ago that there's a theory that the wise men that visited Jesus' birth may have actually been able to trace their lineage back, like their knowledge of the prophecy or whatever of the Hebrews back to Daniel's time serving in Babylon, that news could have been passed down through them. It was a theory, but it's possible. I mean, God used that time. It obviously captured Nebuchadnezzar's attention. He came to where he honored God. And we don't know all the stories of the others, but I'm sure some did. And that was the whole point, was that they were in an uncomfortable place. They're in a place they didn't want to be. They're in a place that didn't like them. They're in a place that they didn't like. They didn't like the people. But God says, I'll be with you. I have plans for you. I have a hope and a future for you. But right now, seek the good of the city where we placed you, or I placed you. And I mean, to me, it echoes what Jesus says in the New Testament, where he says, hey, you wouldn't light a lamp and then hide it under a basket. You can't hide a city on a hill. He says, but in the same way, let your good deeds shine before others, so that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. There's something about the way that we live and speak and act in the world that should point people to God, that should attract people to God, that should influence them. And so I definitely think that this time of the exiles in Babylon brought some of that about. And I think it's great marching orders for us today to seek the good of the city where God's placed us.
Yeah, and what's cool about that scripture is it doesn't say like seek people that are only think like you. It doesn't say that. It says seek the good of the city that you're in, and it's saying, like, to me, it's like, oh, I can love others, I can care about others, and whether we agree on every little thing or not, I'm still going to love them and care about them, and I'm still going to do good in this city, even with people that I don't always agree with.
Right.
Because obviously, you go into the city or you go into meet other people, you're going to run into people who aren't Christians, just like the Jews at that time were meeting people that weren't Jewish. And you're going to meet people. They're not going to have the same values as you. They're not going to have the same way of thought as you. But like you said, through your love and seeking the good, you can make a huge impact on Knoxville just by how you live out your faith every day. And when people go, man, Caleb is living out his faith. I see the joy he has in hard times. I see how even if he's struggling with this, or even if things are chaotic around him or around this country or whatever it is, man, he has something special, right? He has something that supports him and gets him through. And it's like, I want a piece of that, right? And I hope people would say the same thing about me, which is like, man, there's something different, like the joy and the strength even in hard times. And it's like, we live in a chaotic world that's really tough. And it can be really easy just to try to go, we're just going to draw in and seek the good for our people. And yet that's not what we read in Scripture.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, that feeling of chaos or tension, I mean, to me, it is exile. Like, I mean, Peter says it in his letter. He says, beloved, as aliens and exiles in the world, aliens and foreigners in the world, aliens and exiles, whatever translation yours says. But, I urge you to wage war against the desires of the flesh, that wage war against the soul. Like, there's this idea that we are aliens and exiles in the world as it is because we are waiting for Jesus to return and to fully make things all good and new, which will be our true home, which will be what we were made for. Right now, we're still exiles. We're living as exiles. And I think one of the things I talked about on Sunday was this idea that maybe we've forgotten our context, because the role of the prophet or the role of God's people in exile is very different than the role that it was in Judah. Jeremiah's call to the Judahites when they were in Judah before the exile was, repent, turn back, remember the covenant you've made, remember the God of your ancestors, all that. In Babylon, it was seek the good of the city. There's a difference. Why? Well, to me, it's the Babylonians didn't have the same shared story. What are you calling them back to? They don't know your God. So you influence them and you win them for God's kingdom by the way you live. And I wonder, and this is just a pet theory of mine, but I wonder if we for too long have tried to live as prophets in Israel, trying to call people back to something that maybe now we're actually living in more of a Babylon situation where people don't have the same shared knowledge, the same foundations, the same whatever. And so maybe we're speaking past them, or we're speaking a language they don't understand. Yeah. And maybe the place for us to start is, hey, we still want people to be disciples of Jesus. We still want people to come to know him. We still want to see the kingdom expand. Maybe the place we start is we live our lives in a way that points them to that. And when that interest is piqued, like you said, then we can share why. Yeah. I feel like we're in far more of a prophets in Babylon situation than a prophets in Israel one. Oh. And I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just 100%. What has bounced in my head lately.
And I think I can attest to that from a children's ministry standpoint. Just understanding of basic like stories and things like that. I don't think it's quite, the story of Jonah and the whale.
Yeah.
For when I was growing up, probably when a lot of the older adults that were growing up, everybody knows that story. There's not anybody that doesn't know the story of David and Goliath.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, my goodness, the Psalms 23 was on every school chalkboard tablet that kids took home when school started becoming a thing in the United States. Everyone had Psalms 23. And so everybody knew Psalms 23. That was something that the whole culture knew. And that's just not the case anymore. Yeah. You're going to run into people that don't even have the same context that we assume that people have coming to church. And so even just the basic gospel that you are saved by the grace of God, right? That is something that isn't just something that's well known. If you ask most people, how do you get to heaven? Most of them are going to say, I want to try to do some good things. I want to try to be a good person. And that is a shift because for a long time in our country, people heard the gospel. They went to church. It was a part of social living, and it's not the case anymore. Yeah. That's not the case. And so typically there's communities, there's places where, and even more so, we're in the Bible Belt, so you're good. It's that impact of that is going to be slowed down. Some, but it's not completely. And
Right.
I think you're right in the fact that we can live in Babylon, and make an impact and look for the good of the city.
Yeah. Well, and here's I think you're right. And I think one of the things that frustrates me is that we have a tendency, and I've had a tendency to get angry at people for not knowing, and I think you can look back at history and you can lament, well, this shouldn't have happened or that, whatever, to try to avoid the situation. But that really doesn't do any good now, I can't imagine that the exiles went into Babylon going, wait, you guys don't know the story of Moses and the Exodus? You know what I mean? I don't think you're just not going to expect that. Now, do we want people to know the story of Moses? Absolutely, because I think it tells the story of God's power and his love for his people. Am I going to lead with that? Maybe not. Yeah. Not in a culture that doesn't understand. What can I lead with? I can lead with something they will understand. Yeah. That's the way I live my life and the way I love them and treat them. Now, if they see that and it confuses them, like, well, why are you doing that? Well, let me tell you about the God of Moses. Let me tell you about the God of Abraham and Isaac. Let me tell you about the God who came in flesh as Jesus the Christ, who told me to live this way and who's called me to live this way. It's just a different context and a different circumstance. The mission is still the same, but the way we go about it might look a little different. And I think there's a hunger right now for spirituality and a hunger for truth and a hunger for something historic and rooted. And I think we have the answers for it. Yeah. But how we get those answers to people really matters. Yeah. And so if we can remember our context, when we have something good to offer the world, let's offer it in a good way that they grasp their attention. Yep. I think we could see God do some amazing things in and through us, and not just through Westtown. We said this on Sunday, there are a lot of churches that are doing this. We need every church in America, in the Western Hemisphere, in the world, to be pursuing this, to be following Jesus and trying to bring others along. And so we want to do it here, but we want, when we're praying for everybody up and down the street, in the city, across the world, that we get real serious about the message of Jesus and the mission of Jesus.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of saying it. And I think each person that we interact with is going to be inspired and have different needs from each person. So some people you are going to have to answer 1,000 questions. Yeah. And other people, it's not going to be about the questions. It's going to be about feel or I experience God, or how can I, or they're going to be impacted by stories. And it's so I think what our goal here at Westtown is, we want a good mix of all of that. We want to teach biblical truth, and we want that. We also want to tell stories of how God has changed people's lives. We also want to show love, and we want to show compassion, and go out and minister and serve the people in Knoxville. And so I think that's our desires I think our desire is to bring wholeness to Knoxville and through Christ. And he's the only way. People will go looking, they'll try to be part of a party or part of a group or try all these different ways of belonging, and it's all going to fall short. Yep. And we can be there, which is just so cool, that we can be there and we can be loving and kind and gentle, and we can be those prophets in Babylon and going, hey, there's something better. There's something more here. Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited about the series. I'm preaching this Sunday on values and the things that I think we kind of, maybe you can correct me if I'm saying this wrong, hang our hat on, like what we think we are good at and what some of our core values are. And we're going to be talking about why that's important and how we came to that a little bit, and what can that do for our mission of bringing people to Christ and offering wholeness to Knoxville.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. I'm excited about it. Values are what we want people to experience and feel as they're here. And so, when you see something, that's why that's why they do that, because they want to cultivate refuge. That they want to inspire people. That's why they're doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, their kingdom posture. That's why they're doing that's what we want these values to feel like and to be like. So, yeah, I'm excited to see and hear what God lays on your heart and where you go with it, and it'll be good.
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's good to be back, and we're on episode 53 right now. No more parties. So
give it 50 more, 51 more.
51 more.
Yeah,
we can do another
party. Yeah. So you don't do history or math with me.
Yeah,
actually, you can do history with me, just not 1996.
Yes.
That's like nothing happened that year.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I wasn't even a year old.
Yeah. Yep.
I was for the last 3 months of the year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Yep, me too. Hope you guys had a great break, great New Year, great Christmas. We will see you guys next week on the Table Talk podcast. Have a good one.